You can't change your life if you're not willing to change your mind. So for example, if you say, I want a different type of relationships in my life, but I'm not willing to change my mind about it. What do I think about them? How do I understand them? You're not going to have any changes. This is just the reality of it. If you take in the same things, you put it into the same system, and you get the same results, you can't be mad at the system that it just works like that, right? If you are putting particular ingredients into a dish, let's say, and you get that result, you can't be mad that next time when you put same type of ingredients into that dish and you get same type of result, and you're like, I don't understand why it's the same. Well, there is literally the same logic, no different. So keep that in mind. And if you're someone who is not ready to change your mind, then you can actually get off of this video, because this is gonna be a waste of your time. Maybe at some point you're gonna change your mind, and come back. But now just leave it. So first off, I want to share actually my own experience and how I went about it. I actually made the whole video in regards to relationships, how I was thinking before, and how I started to and got to attract the man that I really, really wanted in my life. And it took a lot of mindset shifts, because I did realize that I am functioning from a very bad type of mind space, where I realized that, oh, no one's gonna want me, no one's gonna need me ever, because the things that I've been growing up with, where I didn't have my father growing up because he passed away when I was 2 months old, and then when I was 4, my mom actually brought a new man into the house, but he never interacted with me, so of course I'm gonna have that belief. So it took some time to actually go into my own self-reflection, self-analysis and everything, and then I realized, okay, like this does not work for me, and I feel absolutely horrendous and very, very fragile at the same time. And I didn't feel that it's very attractive, to be honest. Like, I don't want a partner who would be feeling around me like that. So I decided that, okay, I'm gonna dive in and I'm gonna figure this out. So right now I have the relationship that I want, and even when I was single, so there were like 2 different shifts. From one shift where I felt that, oh my God, I am alone, no one wants me, and I have nothing to offer. I completely shifted to, oh my God, I am amazing, I know what I am worth, I know my values, I know that there is a person that is going to value all of these wonderful things about me, because no one is just a bad person, no one's just a great golden person too. But I just really started owning my ways of being in general, owning myself as a personality, as a person. So that helped a lot. But in general, it was a huge mindset shift. And when I switched from that very desperate type of mindset through that work that I'm going to introduce you to, and got into that very grounded state, I literally wasn't even looking forward to meeting anyone. I didn't need that anymore. And I'm not saying that, oh, you have to like shift your mind so you won't want the things that you want. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you have to realize where you're coming from, that traumatized place, and where it's actually healthy for you. And the way my mindset shifted is that I realized that, okay, my values and the way that all of the romantic dynamics basically work is that I love, and I know that it's a must that a man would approach me, because otherwise the whole dynamic is switched and I'm gonna be needing to be in masculine. This is what actually happened in my prior relationship years ago. So I didn't want to do that anymore, and everything was built on that. So I basically shifted my mindset to, okay, like I love relationships, I love the idea of it, I'm ready for it when it's gonna be the right person, and only if it's gonna be the right person. But if it's not gonna be the case, then I'm responsible for my own happiness, and I will make this life worth living for myself. And it brought me to other manifestations like money, opportunities, getting to know people, like all the other wonderful things. But at the end of the day, this had to be changed from within, and that changed everything. And right now, like literally, I couldn't be happier in a relationship than I am right now. So yeah, it's very wonderful. So today I'm going to challenge you a bit for your own sake. You say that you want to have a better life. Everyone wants, right? But do you actually want to do that? Because this particular type of want actually comes with particular things attached to it. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about that all of the people have all the same things, right? We all have bodies, we all have minds. And the thing is that it all depends what kind of life we do live based on what type of mind we actually have. So what am I bringing you to is that what life you have now is only dependent on what type of mind you have now, meaning the ways you think, the ways you behave, but all comes down to mindset, all comes down to rules. It's like a huge decision tree. Essentially, when situations come in your life, you decide, okay, this then that, all of this is actually happening in like really like milliseconds, and you just go into the same patterns. This is why we have the same situations all over and over and over again. If we don't look at them mindfully, if we don't look at them and solve them, especially if it's after trauma, and we decide to choose differently. And when you start choosing differently, this is where life is starting to change. But it does take a lot of bravery. It does take a lot of responsibility as well. So basically everything comes to this simple thing. If you want to change your life, you have to change your mind. And then everything is like a ripple effect. So for anyone who haven't ever done any type of very deliberate internal work where you're actually willing to change the beliefs, change your mind about something, you have to understand that you're going to be triggered no matter what, because these particular beliefs that are right now creating your life, they have been keeping you safe in the understanding that you have lived through, and that's very understandable. And if you decide that, okay, I really don't want to do this anymore and it's too hard, that's totally fine, because this is not something that can be forced. Like if you want to change your mind, if you want to change your mind about something in order to change your life, like you can absolutely do that, but you cannot force yourself without actually being willing to do so. Because yeah, as I mentioned before, like it's going to be a triggering experience. You're going to be exposed to a lot of things that you were not thinking how you were thinking before, and if you're not ready for that, you're just going to really dig your nails into your old belief systems just to make sure that, okay, you have to show yourself that you are right in some sort of way. And also I want to mention another thing that the smartest people, the sharpest mind people have actually the how's that thing called? They're basically used to being their own devil's advocate. They always question themselves. They never assume that they know absolutely everything. And this allows them to actually have that adaptable mind and like really improve their life all the time. And another thing that I want to mention is that when it comes down to working with your mind, this is not where you're going to just watch this video, understand, grab that, quick fill, just pop it, and great, tomorrow you have a changed life. Absolutely not. Like changing a belief system, mindset, a relationship between you and like certain part of your life, for example, relationship to your body, relationship with relationships, relationship to money, like all of that takes time, patience, and just like being very determined to understand that, okay, this is not okay how it is now. And even though it's going to be hard to go to that other side of the river, it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to be worth it, because I know that everything that I want is on the other side of the river. And of course, river is like challenging you and going against you when you're trying to like cross that river. So you have to be like really determined to do that. Of course, if you're gonna fall off, like you're gonna fall off. Like at least taking a shot is like absolutely worth it. But right now, like all that I do in my life is like mostly I work so hard on changing my beliefs because I understood how powerful that is. Is it comfortable? No. Is it worth it? Absolutely, because I don't want to like live this life, which is short already, and just experience the same garbage, the same issues, the same problems, and not enjoy more that I have experienced before. Like, no, like at this point, I would be literally sitting in my old 9 to 5, having friends that I don't particularly align with, settling for a nice guy, and yeah, probably would be married to one at this point, considering the past events, and that's it. And I don't want to do that, and I hope that you're willing to change something like that for yourself as well. So it all comes to changing your mind. Okay, so now I want to move on to actually representing you 4 things that are very effective in changing your mind. And first I want to start off with probably the easiest one. I wouldn't say that it's easiest one, because you don't need to do much thinking. You don't need to yet go into the feelings of where you're resistant, but this is gonna trigger. So the first thing is actually, you're already on the platform, going on YouTube and researching that particular topic, what you want to change into. So for example, a lot of people are working on either money, either relationships, not like working on, but they actually want to change something. And they usually go to how-tos. So I won't say particularly go to how-tos, but go to those places and just try to search for things that are opposing the beliefs that you currently have. Or for example, you know, some people that are just going on interviews or podcasts, and they in general like talk about those topics that they are experts in, and you're going to understand the way they are thinking. And very interesting thing about watching YouTube videos, so they're gonna trigger you a lot. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that you're going to disagree with. Some things you're going to disagree with sincerely because it doesn't align with you, and some things are just gonna be triggering, but you're going to want to believe in them. You're just going to feel that, okay, I really want to believe, but it's triggering because I feel like, oh, like I can't. So for example, a belief that is triggering towards money, that could be very understandable, is it's impossible to make enough money. And yeah, it's impossible to make enough money. So we know that it's a trigger because you haven't yet made that, you haven't figured out the way. And also know that it's an actual negative belief, right? But also you can get triggered by something positive, like there's always so much money coming into the system every day, every minute, every second. This is true. But just that can actually bring a lot of resistance, because like, oh, you're not there yet, you're not in the pool of that money, of the receiving end and everything. So this is where you have to really differentiate which type of things are triggering you, and which one of them are the ones that would benefit you, and the ones that are actually just triggers because this is something that you were made to believe from your past experience. Hope that makes sense. The second thing to do is actually very similar, is reading. So when it comes down to reading, I love to approach it in a very particular kind of way, and I don't care who is going to agree, who's going to disagree. This is just my way, how it works for me. So I love to go to ChatGPT or Grok or any AI that you prefer, it doesn't matter. I use these two. So I really like to say what currently I'm at, what type of mindset I'm dealing with, like really be as in-depth as possible, like what bothers me with particular mindset that I currently have, and what type of, like after it analyzes, I ask it to analyze it particularly, and then I ask it to give me recommendations of books that would be to the opposing side, or just to actually be someone that would be helpful for me to align, so it would be beneficial for me. Or put it anyway, just like please recommend me a book so I could understand this and this like better. In general, very simple concept to understand, and then really start diving into books. So I have a bunch of books on my phone. I always use phone because it's just easier for me to go through everything. I don't have time for books, I don't have space for books, and I just love to connect to get to information like as fast as possible. So essentially, what do? I do usually read about 50 to 100 pages at first, and then see, okay, if it resonates or if it doesn't, because if it doesn't resonate in like 50, usually if it's like 50, 60 pages, and I feel like there's like, something is like not sitting right with me, I just move on to the next one, next recommendation. And if it seems like, okay, it's like challenging, but I feel that it's like triggering in a right way, like I want to think like that, I'm just not there yet, I keep on reading. So when you're going through podcasts or like YouTube stuff, when you're reading, very important to understand that you don't have to learn everything that is being brought to you. Like, no, you're going to sort through the process. Like, it's going to be happening no matter what. You just have to be willing to actually go through as much content as possible, see what resonates, see what doesn't resonate. And you're going to start understanding how it could work for you. You're going to start basically putting the puzzle pieces into place when you didn't have any, or you had someone else's puzzle pieces in your puzzle, right? So you're actually going to start taking those puzzle pieces from people who are experts in the field, who you can trust, and then putting them together. Also, when it comes down to books, and sometimes there are actually wonderful books that just are not right for you yet, they're too early, for example, or you already actually are further than that book, what that book represents. So that's why it might not resonate with you then. So when you're gonna find something that really resonates, really sticks, that's gonna be great. Just keep on reading, but don't be afraid to skip through a book if 50 to 100 pages do not resonate. Skip it, really skip it. There's going to be another book, there's going to be another piece of information that is going to click, because you can't just jump, for example, from, I don't know, kindergarten to like high school, right? So you have to have those increments. So this is the same principle. So you're gonna start piecing those pieces together and everything will come into place. Then let's move on to next thing, which actually comes to processing your emotions, processing your trauma. So when you remove resistance, this is what allows you to move way faster through anything that goes against you, because this is basically what keeps you as a boat, like with an anchor, and you're trying to go, and all of those anchors are basically keeping you in the same place. And it's a fucked up place to be in, right? That's why you cannot change your life just by taking action. This is why, like, all of that mindset work, all of that exploring and information with books, with YouTube videos, plus processing your trauma. So basically what I mean by processing, I really love my favorite process by Teal Swan, the completion process. So the completion process is my favorite tool out of them all. But there are other tools as well. But essentially what I want you to understand is that every emotion, especially when we're talking about negative ones, so when stress happens, it has to go through a processing cycle and basically close that cycle, and then you can move on. So when our brain is coming back to those triggering points, like someone says something about money when we have triggers there, someone says about love when we have triggers there, it comes back to the same place where we get triggered, so it actually could complete the cycle. So the longer we are keeping on running away from it, the longer we cannot process, the more the longer we still stay in the same place, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. So the hardest thing here that you're going to be needing to actually be willing to sit with an emotion that is very uncomfortable, because when you look actually into all people, what is happening around us, right? All of the people are trying to either go for some kind of emotion like relief, love, connection, or in most cases actually running away from negative emotions, right? So this is why we have all sorts of like coping mechanisms like alcohol, drugs, and all of the other not that great type of stuff. Some of them are actually just very fucked up patterns in relationships that they keep on using, so they get those things, those needs met. Anyway, it's a whole conversation, but essentially all of those things have to be processed so you could see the path clearly. Yeah, that's very important, and you can actually bring that anchor up so you can actually start moving on. Then part 4 is actually something that is also part of emotional processing. So it's just called, it's also from Teal Swan, but I believe other experts are using it too. It's from someone else mainly, doesn't matter. Anyway, it's called Parts Work. Teal Swan has a video about it. I truly recommend you watching that as well. So essentially, when you get triggered, when you're gonna go through new information, when you're gonna feel that, okay, something is coming up, and you feel like, okay, you're not completely aligned with all the parts. Like some parts of you are like, no, I really, really want this. But one part of you is really scared, for example, for that success, for that relationship. So you really have to tap into that particular emotion, that particular part. So it could actually also be able to be heard, be able to be held. It's very important to validate that part, that it is actually there to protect you. Okay, so anyway, I just really recommend you to watch Teal Swan's video, but this particular thing is basically also removing the anchor. So just like a little bit different way of removing that, and closing the cycle. Basically, it's like having 6 people on a boat and they are rowing in one direction, and then one person is like rowing into completely different direction. So what we're doing, like all of those parts that are aligned, we're coming to that one person that is going against, and we're asking like, yo, what's up? What's happening? What you're feeling? What are your concerns? And we really are there to understand, and not to just like, yo, change your mind, we don't like you. No, we're not doing that, because it will never work, and it only is going to start rowing harder in the opposite direction. We have to understand it, and then it will be willing to move along with us. We have to make sure that it feels secure to actually move along with everyone else who's on board. And actually I want to add a 5th bonus one. So this is very important, and it's also is usually overlooked. So if you're doing any of those 4 that I've mentioned, or all of them, how I love doing it, that's absolutely great. So this bonus comes with like along with all of those, or like one of those. So it's very important that you would be taking care of your body, and the most important thing, that you would be taking care of your sleep. Because when you are sleeping, you're processing as well, and if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not getting enough rest, you're going to be irritated, and all the triggers are going to be more intense. All of the information is not going to sit in your mind how it should sit, and basically it's way harder for you to move and make those changes in your mind if you're not going to get good rest. So sleep, and actually hydration, and I don't know if you know, but actually water has one of the closest vibrations to, in general, like universe. So it will impact you very positively, and also since you are in that old vibration, you want to shift it. So the more fresh water you can get into your system while you're working through this process, you're like that water, fresh water, is going to grasp onto new information. The old information is going to start flushing out. Basically, it's a whole documentary how water works, and you can definitely find, just Google water documentary, and you're going to understand what I'm talking about there as well. So yeah, keep those things in mind too. And so far, that's it from me today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. These are literally things that I live on every day, literally every day. So I'm here for you and would love to hear your thoughts on this. So yeah, have a great day, and hope to see you soon.